Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our morning edition of Big Brother 22 All-Stars Life. I can't even really get through this introduction because this is a mess. See, I needed to get the pumpkin cream cold brew in order to, number one, convince myself that we're not in a heat wave and it's actually fall, and number two, get properly caffeinated for what is, I think it should be coined, the conclusion of David Disaster Day that took place in the house yesterday.
Oh, it was a clown car.
This is a debacle on top of a debacle. We already went through the early stages of the debacle in our evening update, but guess what? It gets worse.
Oh, so much worse. We have a lot to talk about with David. Oh, David.
All right.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Here we are. I'm a clown.
We're all clowns for collectively thinking, you know what? David, he looks perceptive. We kind of all just kind of negated the idea that he wasn't an active player, and most of the time he was in Camp Comeback, so I think we all convinced ourselves that, oh, he really knows the game. He's going to come back, and he's going to be great. Well, anyway, if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, support us further, check those links to the store, to our Patreon. Our first chat over there on Patreon is happening on Sunday if you're interested in signing up.
Okay, so this really was like David driving around a clown car yesterday, because they had he's driving around, he picked up Devon, he picked up Bailey, then, Janelle got pulled in, then Tyler got pulled in, everybody got clowned last night.
Yeah.
It was rough. David has not only hurt his own game, but a bunch of other people along the way. It was messy.
It all seems to start with him just deciding, for whatever reason, that he needed to put out there that there were people sort of talking about potentially saving Nicole Anthony over him. And at first, throwing Janelle under the bus for some of it, okay, you want her out of the game, whatever, that's fine. I get that. But that's not where he stopped.
No, because he also threw Tyler and Cody under the bus with this. And that whole meeting that happened with David and Devon and Bailey was rough. And listen, I get it. You're in something that feels like a confrontation and you can't handle it. I'm someone that can't handle confrontation. But you can find other ways to get around it than to throw your main partner in the game, which is Tyler, under the bus here. Devon wasn't coming at you in some sort of way that you needed to spill these beans. It just didn't need to happen that way. He could have gotten out of this without saying Tyler's name. It is so bad.
I cannot fathom in a million years why David decided to say, oh, by the way, Tyler was one of the people who was sort of saying that you, Devon, were responsible, or at least thinking about saving Nicole Anthony over me. Why would you throw because supposedly Tyler's his number one ally, right?
Yeah.
Why would you throw your number one ally under the bus and in turn make Devon and Bailey, who could be your other allies, start to doubt your number one? That is basically just throwing a grenade amidst all of your allies and having them just explode into pieces all over each other.
The only thing that I can think of is that the minute that Devon said, I'm gonna fact check this, that Dave was like, well, then I guess I have to come clean with everything, and he just did. That was an interesting thing that she said, because David was right in being well, if you do go and fact check all this, then I'm no longer someone who can go and get information from us. He wasn't wrong about that.
No.
It was the one only thing he said in this conversation that I was like, okay, that is true. But Devon does need to know whether or not she can trust him, because so far she's kind of been on the fence of whether or not she can. Then David says, if you are going to take all this information and go and blow up my game, I get it. And then Devon starts crying, and I felt like I was going to start crying. I felt so bad for her, because she did put her neck out there. She sent home her friend over David, who she's not working with, to keep him and put her neck out there for him all week long. And for him to say something like that, it's probably coming from a place of insecurity, to be like, well, I blew up my game, so, if you want to just throw me out there and take my information and just blow me up, I totally get it. That was such the wrong thing to say. I totally understand why Devon just broke at that point, and it really did break me watching her fall apart like that. That sucked.
There's so many things that David did wrong in this entire situation. I think first and foremost, Devon saying she wants to fact check you. You are not in a court of law when she says that. You do not have to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. You can still leave bits and pieces of information out.
Yeah, you can still lie and just be convincing about it. Like, even afterwards, Devon went and talked to Janelle and said, David said this, and Janelle was just looked her in the eye and was like, no, that never happened. Why would I say that? How is that possibly going to help my game? Devon wasn't like, oh, I need to fact check that. She was just like, yeah, I believe you.
David, listen, it's okay. It's like beyond all of that. Yeah, what he said that got Devon so emotional, that doesn't help anything either. That just, he comes across as a very erratic ally, someone who I think understandably he got screwed over so bad his first season, and I think we can all be in agreement that he got screwed over. Nobody deserves to go through everything that he went through to be on Big Brother just to be taken out at the very, very beginning of the season for something so dumb as just like a competition. It's just, I think that fear is driving him, and I think he's so afraid of looking like an idiot that I think that's actually causing him to not think things through properly. He's overthinking everything.
And I think part of it is just that this is an all-star season, and he is someone who's on an all-star season with people who have played 2 and 3 times, and he's played for, before this, like basically a couple of hours before he was already sent out on a crappy twist. So there's an extra pressure when it's all-stars. I wanted to see David come back, and I just didn't want to see him back on something like All-Stars. I wanted to see him come back in a regular season and give him some experience. It's rough to throw somebody with a couple hours experience in with people who have played 2-3 times.
It's not over yet, everybody. We have now...
The clown car is picking more people
up.
up.
The clown car has now driven up to Tyler and did that honk honk like this. Here's the question with the clown car. Do you have to wear the red nose when you're in it? Is that the horn for the clown car?
They might as well. Because Tyler, oh my goodness, when David went in there and told him what he did, he confessed to it. You should have seen the look on Tyler's face. He was just like, oh my God. And it was the same feeling I think a lot of us had as well. Like, David, what are you doing?
Tyler, this is the thing with Tyler. I have to put a little bit of the blame on Tyler himself here, because you decided to cast some of your lot with a total unknown player in David, and I don't know if this is just because you picked him to win his season and you clowned yourself with that. You made your own clown car with that. I don't know if it's just that he gets along with them on a personal level, but you trusted David with certain things within the house, so it's kind of coming back on you. But granted, I think if you're Tyler and it is an all-star season, you kind of expect a certain level of gameplay to be matched, and David coming back and admitting mistakes, not really something you probably could have seen in advance.
Yeah, later Tyler was just talking to us, to the cam, and he even said, great cast you got here. So I think he realizes that the inexperience is a problem. But he did handle it pretty well, I think, where, he was frustrated, and you could see, David was rubbing his face. He's very stressed out, and Tyler was like, listen, it'll be okay. And David's like, oh man, I really messed up my game. And Tyler's like, no, it messed up my game. Like,
accurate.
I'm the one that's now really the target. It's not you. You're still okay. Don't worry, dude. We're going to get through this. We're going to find a way through it together. He really handled it the best way he could. But that monologue when he was by himself just talking to us and with Tyler, he did say, he knows that he's in trouble. He knows that he needs to, he said, win comps to get through this. He thinks he has to win all the way to the end. I don't think he's there just yet.
Yeah.
I think he's good enough to have those conversations with Davon and Bayley and sit down and really go through it and just make up a lie,
Yeah.
smooth it out. There is lots of time to make that happen.
Yeah, I think Tyler's being a little bit overdramatic with his "this is my only way to the finish line," because you're a great player, Tyler. Just work your social game. People still want out Kaser. People still want out either Bayley or Davon, seemingly. There's other targets that are out there, but my favorite moment of the Tyler and David conversation is the, okay, let's try to pin this on someone else now. Someone told Tyler this. Tyler, he was influenced. Like, who are we going to throw under the bus? And Tyler's like, no, don't say this person. Don't say that person. Like, that's going to get me in trouble. This is like really, it's like turning into like a mob operation at this point, being like, who can we pin the murder on? Oh, we go after this person. I don't know what the voice that is, but it was just, it got really weird halfway through.
David just needed to go to bed at this point. Tyler just needed to be like, go to bed, just sleep it off. We'll deal with it in the morning. And hopefully today things will be a little bit different. Hopefully everybody got a good night's sleep. David just needs to stop talking. Tyler needs to get in there with his experience and find a way to smooth it over, or to sort of just pull back in Davon and Bayley and just be like, you guys may be targets, so I need to bring you in with me, or I need to be in with you. Like, he needs to do some heavy damage control, and David needs to stay out of it and park the clown car.
Tyler said something else interesting in this monologue too that actually wasn't even David related, which is surprising given the events of the night. But it seems like he's having a little bit of buyer's remorse here on winning this HOH and targeting Janelle, because he told Janelle that she's probably going to be evicted from the game, which seems accurate. But this is the same sort of question I think some of us wondered when it comes to just this past time with Memphis, and that Tyler, in winning this HOH, he's basically put himself in a position where he's had to do the dirty work of a lot of the other people in his alliance who wanted Janelle out, but he also realizes that Janelle is probably one of the only few bigger targets in the game than himself, and with Janelle gone, there's gonna be way more attention on him, which I think is true.
Tyler is in a very interesting spot, and I don't know if he's really considering this, but because he doesn't vote, he's done his part. He is HOH, he put up Janelle. Janelle can go home this week. Great. He doesn't vote. So what he could do, because keeping Janelle in this game right now, especially after what's just happened, is the right way to go about this, because Janelle's not really looking at Tyler as the problem. She has other fish to fry. So keeping her in the game, the bigger target, helps Tyler. So if Tyler can get other people to do the dirty work for him and vote to keep her here, then this works out really well for Tyler.
Janelle is also, she's like going into pure last-ditch effort here to try to sway him. Like, she's telling him that, like, production is upset, which, it's like, I don't really think you're allowed to use production as strategy for starters. Beyond that, of course they're going to be mad. They're losing Janelle week 3, and they're probably going to be losing Kaser soon after that. And if they lose Davon, then they're losing, like, a lot of their big, entertaining personalities for... Maybe people like Cody are good players, but not exactly people who pop off the screen all that much.
I guess there's just that little part of me that's still living in Unicorn Land this week.
Yes.
Where I do feel that this thing that happened last night with David, I almost wish that it just happened on like Monday night, because there could have been a little more time for Tyler to work a bit of magic, to start working, bring in Davon and Bayley a little more, and really try to find a way with them to get the votes together to keep Janelle. Because I do think that Tyler is in a world of trouble if Janelle leaves. He needs a bigger target, and there isn't one.
Yeah. it doesn't help that people like Christmas are sort of saying, oh, you know what? I don't necessarily know if we need to get rid of Kaser right away. And she and Tyler had a little bit of a disagreement on that. And that suggests that maybe Devon and Bayley could be targeted first. And Tyler could lose those allies sooner, provided that they're even still allies anymore because of David.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish that this had happened on Monday, because it feels like there would have been enough time to kind of start putting in really hard work to get that to all turn around. But it's Wednesday and there's only one day left, so I'm not really sure if this can happen. But if Tyler can pull something like that out and keep somebody who's a bigger target, he deserves to win the game.
He would deserve a lot of credit. Tyler is a great player.
He is.
I don't know if there's going to be time. There are other good players in there.
There are. He's not my choice to win. Enzo was my winner's pick. But there's other people that I want to win. But a Tyler win, if this is sort of where he's going with it, I'm not going to be mad at that win.
The last super satisfying thing, just entertainment-wise, I'm not satisfied with what it is, but Kevin... He has taken it upon himself amidst all of this debacle to try to blame Kaser for the entire last-minute campaign to save Nicole, where he's getting, like, questioned by all of this sort of stuff, and he was just like... He first tried to, like, downplay that there was any sort of, like, last-minute switch-up with the Nicole vote, but he was like, oh, yeah, actually, you know, it was Kaser who was bringing everybody into it. It's like, Kevin... You would blame Kaser for every single thing that has ever happened in Big Brother.
Oh, yeah. He's blaming Kaser for David driving the clown car around.
He's blaming Kaser for Keisha's birthday, that Kaser went in there and told Mr. Spectacular to kick all that off. Kaser told him to initiate the big lie in Big Brother Season 11.
No, Kevin is really sort of trying what he can to just draw that line and be like, I know I'm on the outs with the numbers, but I am not with Kaser.
Okay, we're all going to take a deep breath here, try to regroup from what we have gone through with David.
And we're all going to hope he got a good night's sleep and he's just going to stop today.
Yeah, let's all be good. Well, actually, I don't know. There's a very devilish part of me that wants the drama to continue. But no, I do like David. That's why all this makes me sad. But
I like David, but this is showing me actually the player that he is. I didn't get to nobody got to see how he really was as a player last time, which is why I wanted him back. But if this is what's happening, like, oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, well.
Holy smokes.
What do you guys think about the day of David and the aftermath of all of this? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, support us further. Check those links to our Patreon, to the store, and we'll see you here next time.